Welcome to St. Petersburg Together. I'm your host, Janice Ford. Finding a good after-school program can be hard for parents, especially in disadvantaged neighborhoods. One program getting rave reviews is the Carrera Summer and After-School Program. Susan Jenkins and Ronaldo Hobson from the Florida Department of Health joins us today to talk about this great place for kids. Thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome.
I understand, Susan, that this first started as a pregnancy prevention program. Can you tell me a little bit about the beginning and about Dr. Carrera?
Sure, be happy to. It actually started in Harlem about 30 years ago as a typical pregnancy prevention program. Shortly after starting, Dr. Carrera realized that this program and other programs serving youth were not working well. So he actually sat down with the youth in the neighborhood and talked to them and asked them questions about what type of program would you benefit from. And he received answers like, well, I'd like a program that can teach me how to get into college, or I'd like to open a bank account, or, you know, my tooth has been hurting and I'd like to be able to go to the dentist. And he realized after talking to the youth that he needed to develop a holistic program, one that encompassed the whole child. So he started to develop that program. He also realized that the program needed to be long-term. So many programs are assisting children, but it's short-term, and then the youth is left with nothing after the program dissolves or they ended or the youth.
No follow-up.
Exactly. So that's how the program started, and it has evolved, and it's in many states now.
So how is the program funded, and how was Florida selected as a site?
Well, the program is funded through the Office of Adolescent Health. The Juvenile Welfare Board, together with the Department of Health in Pinellas, jointly applied for the grant. And so the Juvenile Welfare Board is the grantee, and the Department of Health provides the programming.
Okay. So do you have to apply for funding every year, or is it a 5-year grant, 4-year grant, and then you reapply? Or how does that work?
It's a 5-year grant, but you have to apply every year, reapply, but it is a 5-year grant.
Okay. Explain what is evidence-based.
That's a term that's used frequently nowadays because it's important to make sure that programs actually work for kids, that it's not just a program providing services, but that the outcomes are successful for our youth. So for the Carrera program, there was an evaluation done that showed that the program worked in many different areas in terms of things like graduation from high school, getting into college, having bank accounts, being more aware of sexuality, avoiding pregnancy, those types of outcomes.
So with evidence-based programs, you also have to do, of course, you have to gather stats and do reporting and what have you. Who exactly do you send your reports to? Who's monitoring this?
Many are monitoring this program.
Who's looking at you?
In 30 years, I've never had more monitoring. The Office of Adolescent Health monitors the program. The Carrera program itself, the National Carrera program, monitors the program. Ronaldo Hobson is a fidelity manager for the program, so she monitors it on a regular, almost daily basis. The Juvenile Welfare Board monitors the program. There are component specialists for each area that help monitor the program. The Department of Health monitors the program.
So yes, you have a lot of monitors.
Yes, we have a few monitors.
Now, is that
program.
done all at the same time, or
No.
you have them doing periodically?
It's done different times. The Office of Adolescent Health, for example, does it on an annual basis. And we complete a progress report, a work plan, etc. the Juvenile Welfare Board. We work very closely with them, and they monitor on an ongoing basis. The Department of Health, because we're part of the Department of Health, monitors the program on an ongoing basis. The Carrera program, as I said, Ronalda is on the ground with us as a fidelity manager for the program, ensuring that the model is true to the original model.
Okay. Now, you said that this program started in Harlem, and it's here in Florida, but is it in other states as well?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
How many other states is this program
I
in?
believe
15.
15?
15 other states, yes.
Wow. Okay. That's wonderful. How do you get your youth, and how are they selected?
The program started with youth going into the 6th grade at Johns Hopkins Middle School from certain zip codes that had been identified as high-risk areas. And so what we did was we contacted parents of youth from those zip codes who were going into Johns Hopkins in the 6th grade.
Okay.
And that's really the only criteria that was used.
Oh, okay. So the criteria is not based on whether or not the child is, maintaining grades or what have you.
No.
But they do have to be from a certain. Do they have to have a certain income? The family have to have a certain
No.
income. So none of that.
These are the zip codes that were identified are high risk for things such as poverty, pregnancy, and other high risk factors. But we see our kids as at promise because we know with the right support systems they can do and be anything they want to be.
How does the program work?
Well, it's a 5-day-a-week program, although we do have some Saturdays, and it runs throughout the school year, and it also runs during the summer. I can walk you through it. Basically, what happens is as soon as school lets out, there's a bus at the school that transports the kids to the Enoch Davis Center, where we're based.
Oh, you're based out of the Enoch Davis Center. Okay, I'm very familiar with the Enoch Davis Center. It's a wonderful facility.
It is a wonderful facility, and the city of St. Pete has been very supportive. The staff there have been wonderful. So we've had tremendous community support, which we're very grateful for. But once the youth get to the Enoch Davis Center, then they have a half hour of fellowship where they eat snacks and they share stories about the day, and they relax for a half hour. And then we have 2 components per day. So it's a short period of time. After fellowship, which is a half hour, they go into a 45-minute component session. And then when that's over, they go into a second 45-minute component section. We have different components.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. What are the components?
Okay. We have education that we provide 5 days a week. We assist the participants with homework. We help them with test preparation, FCOT preparation. We have started doing document-based questions with the youth, and the Pinellas County School Board has been very helpful to us. We participated in some of their training so that we're really up on how they're teaching the youth, and we can do the same thing in terms of supporting them. And we have computers for the youth in the program. So education, again, is 5 days a week. Then we have a mental health component that's led by a licensed clinical social worker. Once a week for the kids, she provides something called Power Group. And we were talking earlier about bullying, and that would be one of the subjects that she covers. You know, what is a bully? Have you ever bullied? Have you been bullied? How do you react if it happens? Building self-esteem, those types of issues. We also have a component, because this is a pregnancy prevention program. This is how it started. We have a family sexuality component of the program, and we teach them information. We promote abstinence, and it's age and stage appropriate, but we teach them, in case they become active at some point, how to prevent pregnancy, how to prevent becoming HIV how to prevent STIs, STDs, etc. Another component is our job club component, which we teach financial literacy. We open up bank accounts for all the youth. They
Do
learn.
you partner with GTE?
We haven't been. We actually partnered with Suncoast.
Okay.
SunTrust. Excuse me, SunTrust. And what I had done was I met with the different banks initially, and they're all different. And SunTrust was just wonderful in terms of meeting the needs of our youth in the program, and they've done an outstanding job for us. But in addition to going to the bank, they earn a stipend every week as they attend Job Club. It's like going to work. They attend Job Club, they earn a small stipend. And then once a month they go to the bank and deposit the money.
Oh, okay.
And another part of Job Club is learning what entrepreneurship is. And they've done several things. One thing that they did in entrepreneurship in the program is make holiday cards and sell them. They also had an art exhibit the beginning of the summer rather, and sold paintings, which are now on exhibit at the Department of Health.
Oh, that's wonderful.
In our new pediatric
great.
clinic. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Still, another aspect of that is junior achievement, the curriculum in that, and community service. Again, we were talking earlier about the need to teach youth that it's not just about taking, but it's about giving back. So that's a big part of it as well. We also have our health component, and you might want to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, the comprehensive medical and dental program is designed so that each teen will have a medical home. Will know what a medical home is. That's the place where they go if they have an earache, if there's something going on, or if they need some reproductive health services. And so those who did not have their own medical home, we have provided medical homes for them through the Florida Department of Health and Pinellas. And so they can go over for their annual exams and any kind of medical needs that they might need. We collaborate with members of the community for specialty care if it is decided that they need specialty care. We want them to understand that the emergency room is for an emergency. And the reason that you sit 6 hours in the emergency room is because it might not be an emergency. It's not a life-threatening illness. If you have a life-threatening illness, you are seen right away in the emergency room.
Now, you say medical home. Explain, because a lot of people may not be familiar with that term.
My medical home is a place that I identify where I go for my health needs, for my health education, for my treatment. It could be a doctor's office, nurse practitioner office, it could be a clinic, etc. The place that I go for my appointment at 9 in the morning, and the place that I call at 2 a.m. If I have a problem going on at 2 a.m. for guidance.
Okay. All right. Well, since I have you, you are a Fidelity manager.
Correct.
Now, explain what that is all about.
Right. I am a member of the Carrera Enterprise, the Carrera Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program, which is based in New York City. I'm one of the Fidelity managers. I cover the state of Florida. There are other Fidelity managers for the other states. And basically, I'm a franchise manager, much like McDonald's. And so it's my job to be here on the ground, in close contact with our program director. We are communicating with each other several times a week. And I must ensure that the logic model is followed and that the brand is maintained, the Carrera brand. If it were McDonald's, the arch cannot be green, the arch needs to be yellow. And so it's up to me to make certain that since there are 7 components in the program, are we offering 7 components? Is every teen learning to be more sexually literate, financially literate, etc.?
And this is the only, that you just monitor this program here in St. Petersburg, do you?
Yes, this is our Florida program in St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm the quality assurance part of the Carrera program. I offer training and technical assistance on a very regular basis.
Now, when you say training, do you offer that to the staff, or who do you offer the training to?
The program director and staff, mainly. So I ensure that there is quarterly training and even more regular training offered by national speakers from the Carrera program in New York. We have content experts, 3 content experts in the areas of education, family life, sexuality education, and job club. And I ensure that we communicate with them and that they communicate with our component leaders.
Okay. Now, you said you had 17 different sites. Is this one the only one in Florida?
15, yes.
15?
15 states.
States.
15 states. Yes, this is the only site
okay.
in Florida right now.
Oh, so there can be
And-
more than one site in a state?
Yes, there are. There
Okay.
are several states that have 2 or 3 sites in that particular state.
Okay.
I also share best practices, what's going on in the other sites that we might use on the ground here. Susan and I know what's unique about St. Petersburg, Florida, and our teens, our government, our situation here, and so that we can tailor programming that fit for our students here.
Okay.
We have core principles that we live by, and the key word that I like to mention is caring. Dr. Carrera says that children will remember whether you care or not. If they remember nothing else about you, they will remember that you care, and he believes that the way that children learn is through a caring adults. When a child looks at you, they should see their worth in your eyes.
Right.
And it's just a pleasure to
Right.
watch them
'Cause
grow
they can tell.
physically,
They sure can.
They can tell.
physically, and emotionally, etc. They're learning decision making, and they're really growing into wonderful adults. And the outcomes that we expect to see, the outcomes that were proven in the research, included less pregnancies or less fathering of children, more high school graduations, more college, more sexual literacy, more financial literacy, and more decision making, more choosing abstinence than those in the control group. And so we expect to have the same outcomes here if we follow the same, as we follow the same model here.
Now, you teach abstinence. However, there may be times whenever they don't practice it. What happens if a student becomes pregnant?
We will love and care about them as we love and care about them today.
Okay,
Right.
but you would
We
have to
teach-
refer them to another
no doubt.
agency?
We-
Okay.
No doubt. They would remain in our program. We do not ask children to leave the
Okay.
program. Once a Carrera child, always a Carrera team.
Okay.
In the Family Life Sexuality Education program, the early parts of it are teaching about puberty, the reproductive system of the male, the reproductive system of the female. And they learn that as early as 6th grade.
Okay.
So that it's 2 years later than that now. So they know how to use the proper words for the anatomy, et cetera. And they know how to make decisions. They know how conception happens. And they know about gestation and what a pregnancy is, et cetera. And so it's easy to then flow into talking about contraception. We want them to choose to delay parenting until after the 2nd decade of life, until after they're 21 years old. But if they choose to, we afford them at their medical home all of the comprehensive medical reproductive health care.
Okay. Now, Susan, getting back to educational support, you do work with the Pinellas County Schools, and
We
in
do.
what capacity do you work with them?
Well, first of all, I've had a couple of people from Pinellas County Schools on my advisory board and my leadership committee. So that helps getting that immediate input. But in addition to that, in order to effectively reinforce what they're doing at Pinellas County Schools and support what they're doing, we actually attended trainings at Pinellas County Schools that the teachers were attending and my staff attended.
Okay.
I brought up document-based questions before because that's the way the schools are teaching children now. Rather than just memorization, they're teaching critical thinking. So that's the wave of the future, and we want to be able to support that and reinforce that in our educational component of the program. I forgot to mention the last 2 components. One is self-expression, where we introduce them to music, art, drama, etc. And the other is lifetime individual sports, where we introduce activities that can follow them through life. such as golf and tennis and swimming, etc.
So you teach those things too, but do they have do you have like maybe somebody that will teach them tennis? Do they go out and do they continue that? Because I know that we have a wonderful tennis
First
program.
tee, yes. In fact, our kids participated in first tee, the golf, and yeah, we had a Tai Chi instructor come last year. We tried to get an expert in that area
to come out
because we're not an expert in all the areas.
Of course.
But
certainly couldn't. I couldn't teach you how to play golf or tennis or
Right,
anything like that.
right.
So, and this is on a volunteer basis that these folks come out and do a workshop or a class or something like that.
Yes, we have a lot of volunteers
Right.
that help with the program. For swimming, we had a small rate we had to pay depending on were they eligible for the free food program at school. For golf with First Tee, we get a discount, but we have to pay a small amount of money for it.
Okay.
And it comes out of program expenses.
Okay. Now, we talked earlier about Dr. Carrera, and I know that he did come down. I wasn't able to be a part of that. Something came up when I wasn't able to do that. But tell me a little bit about that when he came down. Is this was that his first time coming here?
He's been here twice.
Twice, okay.
And the last time he came down, he's spoken at the Juvenile Welfare Board, and he did grand rounds at all children's, and he came to the Enoch Davis Center and met with all the kids, and that was wonderful to watch, and answered questions for them, and it was fabulous. The kids put on a talent show for him, so he really enjoyed it. He's a very dynamic individual, and the first time I went and heard him speak, I was just amazed because he's totally dedicated to these youth and this program, and understands what a lot of people do not understand about youth in this country and their needs. And the bottom line is they need love, and they need dosages of love. This program is also a parallel parenting program. So we're providing support to the parents, to the guardians of these youth. And part of it, and it's as important as the dosages of education or mental health or FLSE or Job Club, is the loving support that staff give to the kids.
How many kids do you have in your program at a time?
The cohort is around 60. We've got 64 right now.
Okay. So is the limit 60 and you have 64? Because do you anticipate
because of
somebody leaving?
attrition, there's a lot of movement because of the economy.
Right.
And that actually happened last year, where we had a lot of movement of families.
Right.
And we try to, if at all possible, even if they move out of the immediate area and zip code, if we can get them to the program, we transport them.
Okay. Now, I know that you have transportation that picks them up from the school. Do they take them home, or is the parents required to come pick them up from Enoch Davis?
Preferably, the parents can come and pick them up from Enoch Davis, but we understand that occasionally parents have issues. They can't pick them up. They don't. They're 2/3 of our kids are from single-parent homes, so parents are working. They may not be off work yet. There are numerous issues, so the Department of Health provides vans to take the youth home after the program. Now, to go to banking, we do have the bus.
Right.
And
you have other field trips and stuff like that you take them on.
We do.
Right.
In the summer, we have what we call a health week, because we want to get all the medical, vision, dental checkups done. And so we designate a week, and we really concentrate and focus on that. Then we have 5 weeks of the summer program, and we try to reinforce certain things they've learned throughout the school year in education, but in addition, it's fun. It's time to have a good time, and we have field trips that are educational, such as to the MOSI, the Museum of Science and Industry, or to the Florida Aquarium.
Well, That's wonderful.
And this past summer, we focused on swimming.
Well, we live surrounded by water.
We sure do.
So it's very important
It
that
is.
our kids learn how to swim.
It is.
What is the ultimate goal for the youth?
It is so that they become adults who are healthy, happy, and productive citizens.
Now, we do have contact information, your website, posted with photographs of some of the interactivities that you have with the kids. But if they want to, if parents see this show and they want to contact you, they want to, do you have a waiting list for the kids?
May I?
Yes.
Sure.
This is we have one cohort of 60 children, and we will stay with them until they finish college, because we believe they are going to finish high school and finish college. We say to them, when you graduate, if Dr. Carrera were here, he would say that these children are going straight to the moon. The only difference between our children in the program and other children is resources.
Okay.
When his son said, I want a job at age 13, he was able to call on his cousin or brother who had a business. And so our job is to comb and find resources to give to our teens here.
So the kids that you have now, you will follow these kids?
We
You
will
keep these-
continue to
That
follow
is
them.
wonderful.
We will
That
continue
is
to follow
great.
them, because it is a continuous dosage,
Okay.
continuous
Right.
dosage of caring. We provide a safe place where they can learn the decision-making skills that they need to learn to take them through puberty,
Right.
through adolescence, where there are lots of lessons to learn.
So you get an opportunity to work with these kids long term, and I think that is very important, because you are working with them throughout, the
Absolutely,
high
yes.
school
Right.
and going on to college. That's wonderful, because so many programs are short.
They
And
are.
they don't
Too
have an
short.
opportunity to work with the kids, so that is great. And one more question before we go. Well, how do you see yourself or the program as being successful thus far?
Well, we can see it every day. We see it. I met with 3 youth yesterday in my office to discuss. We have a individual career planning form that we developed this year, and it's to because they're in 8th grade this year, and it's the 8th grade one. It's to try to identify what hobbies do they like, what interests do they like, what type of job or career have they thought about, what high school they want to go to, this type of thing. But we see it. We've seen tremendous changes with our youth and tremendous growth. Did you want to add?
I do. If you would visit the website,
just gonna ask about your website.
www.stopteenpregnancy.com, you will see all about the Carrera Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program. You'll see on the website this month is the graduation of the Parent Family Life Sexuality Education Program that occurred in another state. We are starting our Parent Family Life Sexuality Education Program this month. There is also a video made at the 25th anniversary, which shows you some of those who were teens in that first class of 1984, where they are now and what they're doing now. And we know that our children are going to look the same way as
Wow.
adults.
Well, I wish you continued success in your program.
Thank
you ladies
you.
keep
Thank
up
you.
the good work. Thank you again for joining us. Here's the contact information for the Carrera Summer and After School Program. I'm Janice Ford. Thanks for watching St. Petersburg Together. See you again next time.